Hi, and good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully it's afternoon where everybody is by now. We have not been live here for a little while, and in case you feel like you didn't get enough notice, we're going to start up these on a regular basis on Thursdays again. So this is just a quick impromptu live session because we've got some news, some pretty exciting news for Happy Embroidery Machine owners. And for those of you who are looking at Happy Embroidery Machines, this is just kind of a cute little teaser about some of the neat little features that are going on. And I promise you, two of the topics on here that we're going to talk about real fast are really exciting for Happy Embroidery Machine owners and illustrate why these features really add value and functionality to your business and give you, as an embroidery business, an advantage in your operations, your profitability. So the first topic we're going to talk about is firmware updates 2.23. Now that sounds kind of boring, but basically what it is on any model Happy Embroidery Machine with that Happy releases, they have basically an onboard computer, and just like Windows, they'll come out with 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, Windows 99. Happy machines are always improving the onboard software, but instead of Windows charging you an arm and a leg for like $200 for the new software, Happy lets you download these updates for free. And each generation of machine comes with a number of updates. They're self-installable. If you go to our website, www.happyemb.com, on the support pages or just on the front page, you'll see news about the updates, how to do them, and how to add new functionality to your machine. So if you bought anybody with a touchscreen machine, for example, and they've been around for 6, 7 years, so they go back quite a bit. If you've got a touchscreen machine, these free updates are things that you can do, a software that you can add that adds more features. Like, for example, if you haven't been following the 2.23 update, one of the really neat things that it does is it increases your memory capacity. So touchscreen machines now have a 999 design capacity. Add this update for free. Now you have 3,000 design capacity, which means you can store almost an entire career's worth of designs on your machine, so you don't have to keep going back and forth to your computer to load them in. They're in there, so when you get reorders, bam, punch it up, you can just resew it again. All the settings are saved. Great update. I'm not going to go through all of the features in here. In happyemb.com under support, you will see the list of features on there that you can go through. There's things that are additional to that. Pattern management, because you're going to have a bigger library, you can search that more easily. If you like a bobbin counter, there's more AI built into that bobbin counter. You can do bigger lettering, 1.5 inch, 2 inch high lettering is added to the onboard lettering. And then I'm going to talk about something in a moment. And there's a bunch of other things here, and I'm looking at the updates. But there's something that's not in the release notes that I want to put in here that I do want to talk about because this is really unique. Now, if you're listening and you're live, I do want to say that if you've got any questions, type them in and I will answer them. I will pause from time to time. So those of you who are commenting, just want to let you know, for example, I'll go ahead and just put out a few people are posting comments. So Ramona says she wants to see. Ramona's a prolific digitizer in the industry, by the way. So she's going to be getting a Happy Embroidery Machine soon. So Ramona, glad to see you, and hopefully you'll get excited about these new features. The one I'm about to show will really, really help with patches. So that's kind of cool. Sheila, hello, good to see you. So anybody else that are out there, this is an Ask Us Anything session. So in addition to the topics, you are welcome to add your comments. We'll answer them live as we go. So, all right, I'm going to zoom in really quick to the screen, and then I'm going to show you this thing. And what it is Happy Embroidery Machines, just like just about any embroidery machine, create patches. So you have a large hoop For example, even on our small embroidery machines, the 7-needle Journey to my right shoulder and the 12-needle Voyager to my left come with this nice big 12-inch by 12-inch hoop. And Happy Machines let you automatically repeat the same design over and over and over so that you can do things like patches, which is really, really coming back into fashion. It's something you can run when your machine is idle and not doing anything, you don't have any orders. You can make patches, hit a button. And the nice thing about the auto repeat feature is that you can tell it how many rows, and then how many columns that you want to put of these designs. So you can imagine there's a little bit of setup, like how much space between each, and then how many patches can I fit in. So that's already built into the machine that you can do this. But I'm really excited about this update because it just got a lot easier. So I'm going to try and do a quick zoom into the control panel, and I want to show you this. And then that's about as technical as I'm going to get, but it's really exciting because this is going to let you, those of you who are thinking about running patches, or just multiple designs, like maybe in a big hoop running multiple iterations of freestanding lace or something like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in real close here, and I'm going to pick a small design like this little school logo here. And let's say that I want to put that big or that in a big hoop like our Happy Square hoop. So you can just pick and change to our big square hoop. So you can see that that design is little inside this big hoop. Now, I want to know how many copies of that patch I want to do. Before this 2.23 update, you had to guess, and it was kind of neat. You just go into your patch settings and tell it how many rows and columns. Like if I wanted to do 2 rows and 2 columns. So that's what you're doing here. And then I wanted so much spacing. So and you can see that there's a little bit of math and stuff going on so that you can actually set this up. And you can see that if I set this space, then what's going to happen is that that it's going to let you see, like, for example, now I've got 2 columns worth. So now I've got 4 of them, which is neat, but I had to punch a few things. But let me go back and just kind of set that back. And then I'm going to show you a faster way to do it. So here's the new features where I'm doing, so we've got our design, and here it is. So if I want to set, I can set the gap instantly. Just I'll do like a little gap. So the gaps between the rows and the columns. And then if I hit this button, it automatically fills that hoop with as many as that I can. So if I want a bigger gap, instead of 5 by 5, I'll do 10 by 10. Then what's going to happen is that the number of rows and columns will decrease. So this process, these 2 buttons here that are added, really speeds up the process on how many copies you want. And then you just kind of center that in the hoop, and you can see your array of patches set up, ready to go. No guesswork. It put the maximum number of patches. So that may not be a big deal to some people. Maybe not all of you are running patches, but these little features that are added into Happy Embroidery Machines with the free updates really helps. So I see we've got some comments. I'm going to pause here and actually see. So somebody says DPLA Art says interested. Allison, good morning from Australia. That's awesome. So if you're in Australia, I know I actually went down to Sydney in New South Wales a number of years ago, but the folks over at Heward Sewing Machines, I know they're still doing it over there, and they're a really great outfit. Sewing's been in their family for a long time. They're a great Happy Embroidery Machine distributor down in New South Wales. So welcome. I'm glad from across the pond that you can join us as well, Allison. So Sylvia says, the downloads only for the touchscreen. Yes, they are. So, and in case you are not sure if you're eligible, I've modified the website so that it has a picture of the screen, and it says if you have that touchscreen, then you're eligible to do it. you don't have the touchscreen machine, obviously it's not going to apply. So the touchscreen's been around since 2013, 2014, so 7-8 years. So if you have an older machine than that, it's more than 8 years old. There's a reason why, Happy, it takes a lot of money to keep a set of programming live and in play. So that's kind of why Happy consolidated. But if you need firmware and you have an older machine, we do have the latest firmware updates for those machines, like if you have the color LCD or even the old Voyager that has the two-line text display. We do keep that on there because remember, Happy embroidery machines last forever. So it's not like they make these machines and then after 3 years they're done. They're not. They last decades, and that's also part of the message here is that even though these updates are available for this current generation of machines, within that generation of touchscreens, they're lasting years and years. And there's still support for previous generations. It's almost our worst enemy is that people who bought Happy machines 20 years ago, they're still running fine. Try to sell them a new machine, but guess what? They're still running. So that's the value you get out of buying a new Happy embroidery machine is our longevity and how much you get out of that purchase. So good question, Sylvia, and it highlights a really important point. So Sheila, is this going to be uploaded so we can watch over and over again? Yes, this will be saved here to the Facebook page. So if you guys have school, kids in school, teach day jobs, if you miss it, just come back to this page. It's on here. It's both on our Facebook page and our YouTube page. So great question. So no worries, Sheila. I don't really care. My name's been misspelled so many times, and it's not a big deal. Ramona, great. I hope this is going to be useful for you when you become a Happy owner. So we're very excited for you to join the Happy Embroidery Machine Owners Club. If you are on our Facebook pages, you'll see Ramona's already helping, giving great digitizing advice. She's a great digitizer. I've been teaching digitizing for 23 years, and I've seen her process, and she's one of the ones that I trust. And there are a lot of good ones out there. It's just a matter of, it's so hard to find them. So, so Ramona, you're already part of our family, and we can't wait to have you owning a Happy embroidery machine. So great comments. Teresa, welcome too. Thank you, and hopefully you've grabbed that update too as well. So Pet Mom, can you print out templates in Happy Link? I'm not sure. Happy Link doesn't really have a template that I'm aware of, but I would say try and maybe contact us through support. Even though I'm part of the support team more on the education side, going to the first stitch of a design instead of the center of the design, that sounds more like a digitizing question where most designs should be digitized center so that they automatically go to, you can have it go to the first stitch if you want, depends on how you want to align it. But that's definitely something that you can set up in case you're trying to do maybe ganging, maybe two sew outs next to each other, for example, in multiple hoopings. Also, let's see, Teresa, can't wait. That's great. Hopefully you've gotten the update, but because I know, Teresa, you've got several Happy machines with a couple Happy machines with touchscreens. So just know, I think you've got that older HCD one that won't get it. Just as long as just apply your updates to the touchscreens and you'll have these great functions. So, all right. Robert, the password for firmware 2.23, just go to the instructions. That password is on there. We don't hide it from anybody, but it's right there in the PDF file. So, and then PM me if you need it. It's just the same old password for every one of our firmware updates. We're not trying to make it hard, but I think they're trying to stop bots from automatically installing or just outsiders accidentally installing it on machines that don't apply. So, but there's no secret. Jump on it, or again, PM me and I'll just send it to you. So, Robert over at Battleborn Clothing, really love your stuff. Robert bought his HCD2 used, and he's doing a great job with it, doing some amazing stuff. So thanks for joining us here. Jeff Fuller, welcome. Jeff is from the Embroidery Nerd. Catch his lives over there too. Great advice for the embroidery industry. Jeff is also a Happy embroidery machine owner, so welcome. And then Pet Mom, you do not have the LCD screen. In other words, if you've got the touch screen, then it's applicable. But if you have an older control panel, there's still ways of doing it. I think what you've asked is not a big deal. That's something that's easily handled. So Kelly, hey, welcome. Haven't seen you in years. See your posts every once in a while. You guys have been really successful with your machines. So it's great to see customers that have been around with us for a long time. So DFLA Art, how do you bring all the design into the patches? Now, what I would suggest is that I've done a video on how to do patches on Happy Embroidery Machines. Just jump on the YouTube channel, Texmac Happy Embroidery Machines, and check it out. You'll see that we have, I've done a couple videos on patches, so that's an entire rabbit hole to jump down. Catch Jeff Fuller on the Embroidery Nerd. He's done a lot of patches. A lot of what he does is patches, or the YouTube channel, but a lot of people do patches on these, and there's definitely some techniques, but the machines handle them very easily. Even our 7-needle entry-level Journey, 12-needle Voyager, or even more our big industrial machines like the HCD and the HCU. So great question. So, and lots of comments, so that's great. So, okay, oh, Robert, okay. Robert's pretty sharp. I think all I had to do is tell him one thing and he found it, so great. So great comments so far, everybody. I'm glad you guys could join us. I know that we haven't given you much heads up on this, but to let you know, we will be starting these on a regular basis again. All right, one more topic, which is that we have also HOOMAPS. So I don't want to change the camera onto the website, but if you have used the Durkee Easy Frames, I know you all have been champing at the bit, I think that's how they say it, on trying to install HOOMAPS, and you all have been using the non-registered. Well, I just made the HOOMAPS for all of these except for the back of cap. So they are now on the support page where all your HOOMAPS are. Just scroll down, look for Durkee Easy Frames. They are in a single zip file. You can download them all at once. There's also, each one of these have offsets because, and if you've never done this before, and if you're looking at Happy Embroidery Machines, one thing that's unique about these machines is that even though you have standard Happy brand hoops that are in the hoop libraries so that you can see a picture of where the design is and where it lies, there are all kinds of third-party hoops that you can add, and that's a special thing about these machines. But Happy has no way of knowing about these third-party hoops, so what do you do? And the unique thing about Happy machines is that you can add 15 more hoops of your own design. You can create the shape yourself, or moi, in my spare time over the years, have been adding for all these things. So there are about 10 hoops in here, so it takes a little while. So it's taken me a while to do this. So we finally have the hoop match for these, except for the backer cap hoop because it's D-shaped. It has to be a symmetrical hoop so that you can make a hoop map, but they're there. So the support page is happyemb.com. All right, and then one thing I'll note for those of you who have tried this already, because there's quite a few users, you may be wondering what an offset is, and that's just a number you store with the hoop map to tell the machine how to center this hoop. And I'm going to explain it to you really fast, and this is the way I talk to people in technical support when I'm doing technical support for this, is that if you have a Happy brand hoop, the Happy knows this hoop, and so it knows exactly where the center is. So any other Happy brand hoop, such as, bear with me here, any other Happy brand hoop, such as this one, that also knows the hoop, so it's centered. But it knows that because if you stack them on top of each other, where they mate to the machine, which is these surfaces here, they all have the same common center, so they know where that center is. So if you got another hoop from us that fits on the machine, and if you stack them like this and they all line up on the same center, no offset is needed. So here's where offsets come in. So here's the Durkee Easy Frame 2x4. So if I line this up put the brackets and stack them on top of the brackets of a Happy brand hoop so that they're right on top of each other, you can see that the centers don't line up. The center of this big gray hoop is right here, but the center of this Durkee Easy Frame 2x4 is here. So that means that for this to center naturally, you have to tell the machine to move this up a certain distance. So when you install your hoop map, it's actually going to ask you for the offset. And basically what you need to do is just use the arrow keys that come up and move it so it's centered. Well, I did my homework for you is that when you download these hoop maps, there's a text file that has the value that you need to move. So this one, I believe, is 78 millimeters. So make the Y positive 78. And that's in the notes. And then that's saved, so you only have to do it once, so that every time you select this hoop map, and you hit trace, it'll automatically move forward and then trace, the machine knows how to center that. So that's just kind of a side note. But again, that highlights this great feature of Happy Embroidery machines, that you can add third-party hoops and the shapes into the hoop memory of the machine, so that you can see how your design is inside the sewing field, center it automatically or move it, and with confidence before you even sew, know that it's going to fit or sew in that part of the hoop that you want to. I know that other brand machines are addressing this by just kind of grabbing their existing hoops and telling you how to hack that hoop. This is a wonderful thing with Happy machines, is you can add them in. All right, that's a long topic, and I'm almost done. I've only got one more piece of news, and I'm here to also answer more questions before we go. So I know that there are a few more comments here, so I want to go to answer these questions. So, for example, Sheila, you've had these easy frames for 3 years, never used them. So that's all right. Sheila, use them anytime. It just got a lot easier with these hoop maps. Download them. I will be adding a video later that you can just watch on the hoop map section in case you need to watch this again. Again, you guys can watch this video over and over on the Facebook page and our YouTube page as well too. And then Jasmine has got a comment. You're about to order the Durkee Mighty hoops today. Great. So I don't have all the Mighty hoops done, but I will as soon as I can get hold of them for a few minutes. I actually have to physically be able to put the hoop down on a piece of polar graph paper, trace it, make a few measurements, and it's done. Sometimes it's fast, sometimes it's not, but I try to make them as soon as I can. But I know the Durkee Easy Frames have been so popular that I've tried to do them in my spare time at Texmac between the marketing and the teaching that I do. The instructions, by the way, you can make your own at the end of the user's manual called Frame Confirmation. I think it's section 21, but I'm basically just following the directions that come along with each Happy machine. So, so Jasmine, great. So, and then Pet Mom, how do you do it? So Pet Mom, if you're going to use the Happy machines, if you're going to use the hoop maps, just go to the happyemb.com support page and download the hoop maps. The instructions are there. That's probably the fastest way to do it. And then if you have more questions, you can always read through the instructions, and then you can contact support for any further clarification on any features on that, if that's what you're asking about for hoop maps. So, and a video on doing the update, yes, we will eventually do that. I know that I put instructions there. The reason that we hadn't put the update, a video on the update is simply because everybody's windows may be a little different, so the screens may be different. But now I know people are having some difficulties, and some of it's just because maybe their USB stick doesn't have enough room, or they don't know what it should look like. So at least we can do one so that you have a template of what it should look like and the way the process should look. So that's definitely in the works. So one is how to use a hoop map. We'll do a video. And two, how to do the firmware updates so that you can actually see it in process. So great question. So definitely. Hussein, 2222, hello. And Wendy down in the Atlanta area, how much difference will be an update if your touchscreen seems slow? If your touchscreen is slow, Wendy, I would contact support, but There are all kinds of resources that you can take advantage of, procedures you can do for stuff like that. The firmware update will basically put a fresh copy of software on there. You can actually do that yourself without even doing the firmware updates. Just go to your main menu, then Other, and then System. And System will basically delete the firmware off of the machine, wipe the brain clean, and then in the back of the control panel, there is a back storage area that has that onboard program saved, and it puts a clean copy back. So you can try that. And then if you don't have a touchscreen machine, you have to do the speed reset as well. But if you do main menu, Other, and System, refresh the firmware, it's basically just like, rebooting Windows or just wiping Windows off, putting it back on. It is a Windows CE platform that Happy Embroidery Machine programs on. So that's something that you can try. So we're in the Ask Anything section of this webinar or this live. So bring your questions. I'm glad to see you all here and asking them. Sheila, how often should you run your machine? You can leave your 12 needle machine for a week or two and it works fine. I do that for my journey and then I get thread breaks. I would say, Sheila, these machines can be run as little or as often as you like. If you're having problems, if you've left it alone, join my webinars. I'll walk you through, like, for example, I have experience with the machine. I actually have a Happy machine at home, and I run it only sometimes because I do work here at Texmac. So when I start, I know that if the machine's been sitting, even though the tension knobs and everything, but the machines stay pretty steady. It's a 2005, but it doesn't mess anything up to let it sit. But there are some things that you do. For me as an educator, teaching people how to operate Happy Embroidery machines, there's some common sense things you want to do. Test pull your thread, maybe do a quickie test and everything like that. Just make sure everything's running, and that's basically it. But Sheila, go and jump on one of the webinars if you have specific questions about that. I go over it every day, every week on happyemb.com. If you go to the schedule, the events and classes, every Wednesday and Friday I have webinars. So I do them live, and I'm glad to answer questions like that. So good question. Jasmine's got a question here. Do you run the update on a brand new machine? Look at your update. Follow the directions on the PDF. And if it's a brand new machine, sometimes they already have the new update. Just check go to main menu, then Other, then Version. And if your main program is B2.23, you've already got the update. So often when Happy sends us the updates to send to everybody else that's already bought a machine, the ones that are right out of our warehouse probably already got the update a little bit ahead. So check it first. No need to double your work. So if you see these features, that's another indication you probably don't have to do the update. So good question. Chris, Tani, I'm glad you're here. So yes, I know I know you've been waiting for it for a long time. So great. Can I get the bracket to bracket measurement to see if your current Mighty Gibson Durkee frame will work? Bracket to bracket, Ramona, basically Happy's are 360. So basically the measurement is 360 millimeters from the center of the hole to the center of this hole. So that's called 360 spacing. I think that's standard for most commercial embroidery machines like Tajima and Happy, probably Barrett, and other brands, but that's what this gapping here is 360. What may be different is the brackets is the spacing for the secondary lock hole, for lock slot for the arm. What's really cool about a Happy machine is that on the arms, you can actually slide the clips back to accommodate Tajima brand hoops in case you maybe don't want to reinvest in brackets. So that's something you want to decide whether you want to constantly be sliding your brackets back and forth in case you want to. I think you've got SLVF machines, switch it from the SLVF to the Happy, but that's a flexibility that Happy machines have. So good question. All right. Pet Mom, are the Mighty Hoop sizes available for download into the software? Yes, again, that's most of the Mighty Hoops are, you're fine. By the way, guys, that was David Middleton, our service manager. So just peeking in, looking over my shoulder, making sure we're behaving. So we're all a close family here. Just want to let you know, again, with HOOMAPS, just go to support page for your machine and go to downloads. And you'll see for whatever model machine you have, multi-head, single head, go to the download section. You'll see the HOOMAPS. The easy frames are there. I put it on all 5 of the product pages for our 4 single heads and our multi-heads as well. So great question. So more questions here. Reba has the older Happy machine, however, with the 64-bit computers, we have it on CD instead of downloading. Well, Reba, you can just, it's even easier. You don't need a CD. All you have to do is, as long as you can get it on the website, just download it. And it's even faster than on a CD, because if you run it right from your documents folder, then the machine, your computer doesn't even have to read the CD where there's a delay. It's running faster. So just download it straight to your documents folder, extract the zip file, and then you just run the installer. If you're doing this 64-bit computers, you're probably doing Happy Link, which is different. That's the connection software. Sure, you can install that. And then if you have an older Happy machine, you may want to get with support and just make sure that it's set up for a 64-bit computer. And you may have to update your firmware if you hadn't already. But that's, again, another rabbit hole that you can address through support, or jump on our webinars. Again, we accommodate for that and other technical questions on the webinars. And then, of course, call the support department for the company you bought it from. If you bought it from Texmac, call the 866 number. So we're glad to help. So, yep. Okay. So I'll tell Wendy's David's popped out. So I'll go ahead and let him know you said hi. And then finally, I'm going to go ahead and start conclude this. I don't want to keep you all too long. I just want to make a public service announcement. If you haven't been aware, Texmac Direct, and that's the company we work for here. We are Texmac Direct. We are the distributor for Happy embroidery machines in North America, or especially in the United States. But we are the company that you deal with when you buy your Happy embroidery machines. We are undergoing an infrastructure change and upgrading our computer systems to make it easier, so that if you order a machine from us, then the ladies over in parts can see that order and see what you got, so that they know what hoops are compatible, that kind of thing. So our digital management system of your information, which is of course taken very, very securely, is handled so that we can all help you a lot better. So we're in a transition process. So those of you who are looking to reach out to us for support, sales questions, calling the 800 number for either support or for sales or for parts, bear with us and leave a message or send us emails, and we're getting back to you as quickly as we can. We are transitioning through this nicely, and we're on the back end of the transition. But just let us, we ask you just a little bit of patience. Make sure you leave messages, and we will try and get back to you as quickly as we can. So we appreciate it. Again, on the back end, once this Bizawi system is up and running, we'll be able to serve you as customers better and take better care of you as Happy embroidery machine owners. So thank you guys for your participation. Pet Mom, I would say go ahead and just jump on a webinar. Again, looks like you've got Stitch and Sew software. We can answer questions like that and without having to introduce too many topics. But again, I just want to open the door for you. If you have questions like that, I work in that software every day. I keep a copy of it here. So glad to answer questions like that. Or if you need to PM me, that's fine too. So glad to help. And again, we really appreciate your participation here. So you guys must have missed it. So we're back on a regular basis. Linda, this is, I know you missed this, but again, just watch this over. This is going to be saved very shortly automatically to our YouTube and our Facebook channel, so you can watch it in its entirety. And Linda, I think you've got the color control panel, I think back from the Bernina days, when Bernina also sold Happy machines with us. So you may not have a touchscreen. If you don't have a touchscreen, again, the update's not for you, but you can always contact us and just make sure that you have the latest, greatest update for your machine. If you do have a touchscreen, I do apologize, but it's on the support page for your machine. So, okay. So Wendy, you're welcome. Glad you're a happy machine owner and that you've got several happy machines, which is a great endorsement for our products. Wall Street, welcome. Glad you could catch us. And Robert, very smartly, thank you again. Thank you for posting the link. So these are firmware updates for the single head touchscreen machines. And also if you have a multi-head, it has a separate firmware update. So just make sure you navigate. But the link that Robert just posted is if you've got a happy single head touchscreen machine, go to it. If you don't, go to happyemb.com. I've got a link for single heads, and below that, I've got a link for multi-heads. So great. So Linda, I know you've been around with us for a while. It's good to see your name coming in and out. Just means that you're operating your happy machine for many years, and we're grateful for that. So, and I think your email is something like Stitch. Your company's like Stitch and Romance. So yeah, we love knowing our customers. It's a long-term relationship when you get a happy embroidery machine, so they last so darn long, and that's good for you as a consumer. And it's more heartwarming because we get to know our customers as well. So it's great. So, all right, guys. Thank you again. I've gone a little bit over time, but it's because you guys have been asking so many questions, and we're really, really pleased to have you join in. We're going to be doing this regularly on Thursdays at 2 p.m. again with either quick interviews or machine features or just to ask us anything, just to keep you guys in touch with what's going on here at Texmac Direct and Happy Embroidery Machines. Thank you all.